Welcome back to Mornings with Dave King and Matt Martin. We want to get right to the phones. We've got the Car Pro Jerry Reynolds on the line. Jerry, you weren't able to call last week because you didn't have any power.
I had no power, and and man, I thought, well, I wake up at 6 o'clock every morning, even without an alarm clock, I'll be fine. I woke up at 7:45. So sorry I missed you guys last week.
Jerry, let me tell you, that's what you get for being on ERCOT. See, we have our own generating plants here in this part of Wichita.
Yes, I knew that. Congratulations.
Until June 1st.
Oh, and then what happens?
We join ERCOT.
Oh, good for you.
We get to freeze with you.
Yay. Wow. I got to tell you guys, I've got, after that experience last week, over a 5-day period, I had 8 hours total of electricity, all at one time. It came back on Wednesday night for about 8 hours, and then it went off again. And I wrote about this experience. It's on the website under news at carprousa.com, and it's titled "A Week with No Power: How a Dodge and Halo Saved Me." And the Halo is if you haven't ever seen one, it's a really wonderful little device. It's about an $80 charger. I mean, you can run anything on it. But I kept having to go to the car to charge all my devices, my phone and my computer and the Halo. So I still had that Dodge Durango Hellcat. And it idled in my driveway, I'm going to say probably 30 to 35 hours during the week. I ran a half a tank of gas through it, sitting in the driveway.
Wow.
So I wrote about the experience. It's kind of funny to get a chance to look at it.
Now, it's hard to test a Hellcat when there's ice on the road.
Yes, it is.
I bet those tires don't even move when there's ice on the road. I mean, they just spin.
What? It was shocking to me how well that thing did, because what happened, it has a snow mode. It's got drive modes.
Oh.
It had about 6 drive modes, and one of them was snow. And so it equally distributed power to the front and rear wheels.
Oh, it's all-wheel drive?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
And it worked great. I mean, I've got a Range Rover, and I've tried to go to the store in it, and I've got a very steep driveway. And honest to God, that Durango did better than the Range Rover did getting back up the driveway.
Wow. So I'll tell you a little ice story when I lived in Dallas. Back when I lived in Dallas, this was in the mid-2000s. We had an ice storm, and I was delivering pizzas, and I drove a 94 Firebird. And I'll tell you, I loved that car. I did.
Yeah.
But I delivered pizzas. I was able to get off my parking lot, get all the way to the store where the pizza is. I mean, I'm talking down I-35 up to the 75 area, close to Mockingbird. That's where I used to deliver pizzas. So it's quite a ways from where I was living at the time. I park it at the parking lot at the Pizza Hut I was working at, and I couldn't move it after that. I ended up parking on ice. I could not even get home. I had to call somebody to come get me because the back wheels literally spun. We tried putting cardboard under there, and they just threw the cardboard back. I mean, it would not move.
Yeah, that's not the greatest car for that situation.
It was all the power was in the rear wheels, and no moving.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Well, so tell us what you're driving this week there, champion.
I've got the 2021 Genesis GV80, which is very timely. That vehicle has been in the news a lot this week because it's the exact same vehicle that Tiger Woods. And, after looking at that thing and the wreck that he had, I sure have felt safer, I'll tell you. This is a spectacular SUV. This one is going to be a game changer for Genesis and for SUVs as a whole. One of the nicest I've ever been in, with a window sticker of $65,775, which by today's standards, I mean, you can run a Ford Explorer up to almost $65,000. But this thing is amazing. It's got 375 horses, all-wheel drive. Beautiful interior. It is a 5-passenger, but it does come with an optional third-row seat if people need it, albeit it looks to be, and I haven't seen it in person, but looking at Genesis.com, it looks like the third-row seat would be very small. But this 5-passenger is very roomy, got some really neat features. Things you'd expect, heated and air-conditioned seats, but in the infotainment system, if you're all stressed out, there's a sounds of nature button that you can hit, and it will bring in sounds through the speakers of the ocean or a crackling fireplace, things like that are really cool. It's also got
they're going to put me to sleep on the road.
I know. The ocean one, if you got to go to the bathroom, you better not turn that one on, I'll tell you. But it's got a amplifier in the front where if you've got people in the rear, it will amplify your voice without you having to turn around to talk to them, which is pretty cool. And also, you can stand outside the vehicle with the key fob and move it forwards and backwards, the whole car, by remote control. And, that's something you don't think you'd use very often, and you probably wouldn't. But, if somebody parked really close to you and you wanted to back the vehicle out, or, if you want to park it in your garage and back it out and then get in and go, pretty cool feature. It's just kind of amazing everything this thing has got for $65,000 with today's prices of SUVs. But a visibly beautiful. It's got a great big grille. It's kind of reminiscent of a Bentley.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It kind of the front of it kind of looks like a Bentley.
Yeah, it does. And it's kind of one of those just the right size. It's not too big. It's not too small. But a really enjoyable SUV. I've had a million questions from people about it. They just started hitting the dealers about probably 3 weeks ago.
So who makes Genesis?
Hyundai. It's a Hyundai product. So you get the 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty. You get 3 years of free maintenance, and the Genesis comes with a concierge service. So if you need something done to it, warranty work or just routine maintenance, they bring a vehicle to you, pick yours up, take it in, and then bring it back to you.
And like you said, Tiger Woods, he survived one heck of a crash there.
Oh, man, I tell you, and the sheriff there in that county said if it hadn't been for the vehicle, he probably wouldn't have survived it. And I could see that. That thing was completely torn apart. But the cabin, the interior cage held together just fantastic and kept him from getting injured worse than he did. So he was a lucky fellow.
So let me ask you about size. Is it about the size of a Ford Edge?
No, it's bigger.
It's bigger, okay.
Longer. Yeah. It's really close to Explorer size.
Yeah, with the design, it kind of made me think of a Ford Edge.
Yeah.
Jerry, we've had this conversation before, but once again, I'll look at this. This is an awfully good-looking SUV, no doubt about it. But I'm telling you, you have to look close. In fact, yesterday, I go out in the parking lot to get in my SUV, and I tried to get in the wrong one. I mean, you have to look closely to tell them apart. And this is another one. It's like there's one design, and everybody uses the same design. They may make them a little bit shorter, and they change the windows and the interior a little bit, but that's about it.
Yeah, you're right. In fact, this is probably very close to the size of your Highlander, Dave. It may be just a hair shorter, but it's a little rounder. But I'd say it's about the same size. It weighs 4,500 pounds all total, and it'll tow 6,000 pounds. So very capable on top of being good looking.
All right, well, Jerry,
it is good looking.
We're running low on time. What do you have going on CarProUSA.com?
Well, I got the story about my week with no power. I wrote an article on what to consider when you're choosing your first sports car, because so many of us now, baby boomers are buying their first sports car. And then we got the J.D. Power dependability study results in this week. The big stars of the show were Lexus, Porsche, and, believe it or not, Kia.
Ah,
Yeah. Well,
crazy.
Jerry, we got to run. We
Good
are
to talk
out
to you
of time,
guys.
but,
yeah.
always glad to have you. Of course, reminding everyone that Jerry the Car Pro is on every Saturday right here on KFYO from, 11 to 2?
11 to 1.
11 to 1.
11 to 1.
11 to 1. Yep.
Yeah.
All right, and the website's carprousa.com. Everything we talked about's up there. Check it out. It's a great place, especially if you're looking for a car. But even if you're not, go check it out. All right, Jerry, thank you so much for coming on. We'll talk to you again here in about a week.
Okay, guys. Thank you.
All right, thanks. We'll be right back on Mornings with Dave King and Matt Martin.